Welcome to a very frustrated political insider. Before we kick off, I'm frustrated because we need more subscribers. We want to get to 50,000 by the end of the year. And I'm frustrated by some of the news that we are bringing to you today. We had to watch the spectacle of the Madlanga Commission, hearing from Brown Mkhotsi. Brown Mkhotsi was ripped apart by the evidence leader, Matthew Chaskelson. And why? Because this guy is delusional. He is talking the biggest load of nonsense you can imagine. And Chaskelson even said to him, "Your testimony is fanciful, far-fetched and implausible. You are a serial professional liar." And it's hard to not see Mkhotsi as anything else. Now, we were all waiting to hear from Brown Mkhotsi. He was meant to be the man that linked the politicians with the criminals, etc. Instead, you can't believe anything he says, whether you want to or not. The guy's just, how anybody thought that this would be a good guy to have as the go-between, I don't know, unless there's another Brown Mkhotsi that we don't know. I mean, this guy has really just made some of the craziest claims you can imagine. We remember, in his previous testimony where he said that Mkhwanazi and the Zulu King worked for the CIA. Some of his absolute whoppers yesterday was that he said that he was recruited after a coal mine, this is his words, that after a coal mine in Richards Bay was under threat of closure, and he was recruited because there was talk of the CIA becoming involved with this coal mine in Richards Bay because there were Israeli interests. To which the evidence leader had to point out there are no coal mines in Richards Bay. And it's an international terminal where coal is exported that comes from coal mines that are usually in Mpumalanga. And Richards Bay, in fact, are owned by 10 very credible investors. And all of this seemed to go right over the round head of Mr. Mkhotsi. Now, I'm getting very, very frustrated because, let's not lose sight about what this commission is about. This commission is about a captured police force. This is about politicians consorting with criminals. This is about people dying as they try to protect our tax money from being stolen by those criminals. And we really need to take a look at policing in South Africa. Instead, we have to hear from people like Brown Mkhotsi, who is talking conspiracy theories and CIAs, etc., etc. The CIA didn't kill Babita Deokaran. Criminal syndicates killed Babita Deokaran. The same criminal syndicates run by people like Kat Matlala, who, according to Mkhotsi, was phoning him from prison and claimed to have paid millions of rand to former police minister Becky Tele and current police commissioner Fanny Masemola. But instead, we can't work out whether this guy is for real, deluded, demented, what he is. The commissions should get more credible witnesses. And if a witness comes along like this, who's just making a joke of the whole thing, get rid of him. Because this is not furthering the case at all. Or else stop the commissions and say everything's fine with the police when we know it's not. So that's not really an option. But to listen to more of Brown Mkhotsi is a joke. We're wasting the time. And remember, people like the evidence leader, Matthew Chaskelson, to use him as an example, he's not the only one. We've got a whole lot of people, are earning a fat salary. We know that hundreds of millions of rand of our tax money is going towards this commission. Instead, that commission, that time that we are paying for, those fancy officers, the whole lot, is being paid for by our tax money. If you're not going to do something with it, don't do it at all. Parliament are only a fraction better because they had to hear part 2 of Cedric Nkabinda, the former chief of staff in the Ministry of Police under recently suspended police chief, police minister Senzo Mkhunu. How this guy ever got to be chief of staff is unbelievable. Last time he was kicked out of Parliament because he admitted that his affidavit was not worth the paper it was printed on. He came across as the classroom clown And he gave a little bit of detail. A lot of it bore no interest to this particular commission. He was talking about events from 2018 that happened with IPID when it was still run by that great struggle hero, Robert McBride, you know, the guy who thought it was a great act of struggle to blow up nightclubs. Who cares what happened in 2018? I don't think Babita Diakaran's family cares about what happened in 2018. I don't think the people that died trying to get treatment at Tembisa Hospital care about IPID's struggle with Paul O'Sullivan in 2018. We've got a problem now. I don't think when Nhlanhla Mkhotsi said that there's problems in the police force, he's talking about 2018. I think he's talking about now. So instead, we have to waste time. We have to hear from the Mkhonto Wesizwe candidate parliamentarians trying to explain to the world that Zondo Commission wasn't state capture. This is state capture. Who cares? Put everybody that abuses the South African taxpayer and breaks the law, put them in jail. Who cares which number of state capture it is? It's a very, very frustrating state of affairs. And until they get serious witnesses there that are dealing with the problems right now that can lead to people being arrested and the police service being improved, let's not waste our time. That would be my message to both of these hearings, from the Madlanga Commission to the ad hoc committee. We can't spend our time playing games. We've got a country to run. We need to create jobs. There are people living in misery in this country. The country's not growing. The country's having a serious problem. And we have to hear about little police battles, about little groups that want to get one thing over the other guy. Who cares? Really. You play your games, do it on your own time. While we are paying for your services, run a police service. Not once in this commission have we heard about good policing, other than the witnesses that appeared in Madlanga Commission that told in great detail how they've got proof of the crimes of the Kuruleni Police Department. That's the only bit of proper police work we've seen. The rest has all been about stealing taxpayer money and made out as if this guy, we're bad, but they're worse. Who cares who's worse? Whoever's broken the law must go to jail. That's surely what this is about. If there was a politician involved, they can also go to jail. Right? We are not seeing good guys coming out of this, and we'll have to hope that somewhere a judge, somebody in charge of the commission, maybe a parliamentarian, will start taking this seriously and understand that we want to talk about problems that exist that can be solved so that we can have a better South Africa. So that was the wrap-up of the commissions from yesterday. Please God, it should improve, because right now it looks pretty poor. When we continue stories about politicians behaving badly, how about the spectacle of that Member of Parliament from Mkhonto Wesizwe, that well-known, very popular Member of Parliament from Mkhonto Wesizwe, Duduzile Zuma Sambudla, who is in Parliament on the ticket of Mkhonto Wesizwe, who is currently facing criminal charges for her role in the 2021 riots, which cost the country billions of rand in economic value, and 350 people died. Let's not forget, 350 people died. This is not some kind of technical exercise. People lost their lives. And Zuma Sambudla was at the center of it, stoking the fire through her own social media profiles, which had 260,000 followers at the time, where she was talking about, we see you, when the rioters were burning businesses, supermarkets, destroying livelihoods, in the hope that the rioting would spread nationwide, which it didn't, thankfully. She's being represented by the serial case loser, Dalia Mpofu. That's our only saving grace here. But she is now paid by you and I more than R1 million a year to be in Parliament. And this is the quality of people that we think should be in Parliament. I don't think so. So once again, one hopes that the spectacle of a prominent politician, because she's no longer the daughter of the ex-president, she's a politician in her own right because she's a member of Parliament, right, that stoked a uprising. And she's trying to defend it by saying, that's not what I meant. Well, if it's not what you meant, we failed to see the tweet where you say, please stop it. None of those. Her defense is sort of saying that's not what she intended. Where are the tweets that said this is not the way to go about it? We should be doing something else that's a lot more peaceful and constructive. That doesn't exist. Instead, we got a dozen, hundreds of tweets that came from her foul fingers telling people that they must burn things and that it should happen around the country. So if she gets off on some kind of technicality, well done. Dolly Mpofu will win his first case in a decade. I don't see it happening, but I think sis on the people that think that she is material to be in Parliament. It's disgusting that we've got people like this anywhere near Parliament. Time we start holding our representatives to a higher standard. That's my other rant for the day. And let's end up on a positive note. The positive note is our old friends at the PIC, the Public Investment Corporation. Well, once again, we're starting to see how they are responsible for the loss of other people's money and the stealing of other people's money. Who are the victims this time? Government employees who, through their pension fund, which is managed by the PIC, wrote off 3.6 billion rand in investments. Now, this is like watching an accident with somebody else's car. It's bad, but you're not as involved as the accident when it's your car. So we have spoken a lot about taxpayer money being wasted and being stolen. In this case, this is the money that belongs to government employees. This is meant to be their retirement money. And because the fund is so big, they're going to try and bury 3.6 billion rands worth of write-offs. There was evidence given how the fund was fleeced by BE stakeholders selling shares in Lanseria Airport that had to be written off and so on. It's disgusting. The PIC Chief Investment Officer, Brown Mkhotsi, has been suspended because whistleblowers have implicated him in misconduct. Will this man see the inside of a jail cell? We can only hope. And to go back to the commissions, we need a judiciary, a criminal justice system that puts a man like this behind bars. Why? Because he has, under his watch, he has not acted with due skill, care, and diligence to make sure that the money that is kept for vulnerable people, in other words, those government employees, when they retire, they need the money that they've invested. They don't need write-offs on fanciful investments made in their name. So let's get serious once again about these commissions, because they've descended into farce. We've had to hear from people like Brown Mkhotsi and Cedric and Kabinda, who are not serious people. They should never have got their jobs. In fact, we should have a commission of inquiry about anything, is how people like this could get anywhere near ministers, police chiefs, and so on. That, to me, is the real scandal. So we got to hope that South Africa somehow starts to mature. We've got to hope that somebody like, Madlanga himself, maybe Soviet Lechaniane in Parliament, starts understanding that South Africans want some answers. We want to know who's guilty. We need to hear from serious people so that serious people can start preparing their time to go and spend in jail for the crimes that they've committed. And we can start rebuilding our police service so that some value out of the tax money that we pay so policemen can keep us safe, which they have failing to do. So there you go, from a frustrated political insider. Don't frustrate me more. Subscribe to the channel. We'll keep you up to date with what's going on. Let's hope it's better content the next time we hear from these commissions. Thank you for joining me today.